And we worked very, very hard in that area to begin to try to push it into the Democratic column. And we were fortunate. We did win Saline County, even though at least the Kansas City Star folk were saying that the people out there would not vote. They said for a Democrat, but I think they meant something else. So we were very pleased to do that. And we're going to continue to work in that area in all of the 5th District, and we appreciate all of the support that we've received from those of you in this room. And I want to also thank our sheriff. When I first started running out there, he took me out, introduced me to all of the sheriffs out in the eastern part of the new 5th District, who all were very, very helpful and supportive in many ways, including our party, the park. So we are going to do that again, and we would again invite all of you there. We are also going to have a great speaker tonight. Raul Grijalva is the chair of the Progressive Caucus of the 113th Congress. He was also the chairman of the 112th Congress. And I was telling him yesterday, I saw him on Candy Crowley last Sunday morning, I think it was. And I said, way to hold back. He holds back on nothing. And is very eloquent and very powerful, and is a Democrat. You know, sometimes you have people flipping, you know, trying to play both sides. He stands up for working people every single day. And so he will speak tonight, and I think you will be very pleased if you are present to hear him. I would also, like I said, we're going to have our annual backyard event on the 6th, on June 1st in my backyard. And we usually, last year we had about 400 people. The reason I know is because it was the first time that we ran out of some of the gates. But I did talk with him last night. He's got a new chuck wagon, and they're going to be able to bring more food today on the 6th. And the minority whip, Stenny Hardy, will be our special guest, and who I have so much respect for, because he has to get up every morning. And I think our Senate minority leader can relate to this. He's got to get up every morning and try to inspire Democrats to come and be Democrats, because there are some challenges in doing that right now. I'm going to take just a few minutes because everybody here hopefully is going to have to go home, take a nap, and come back. I don't want to take a lot of time. What I'd like to do is share with you some information that you can use as responses out in the community. One of the things we've got to be able to do is respond to both. And some of the people we respond to don't respect facts. And so they live in a fact-free world. And so it's difficult to debate people who will argue that the day is not Saturday. And so it nevertheless helps if we have some of the facts. And I want to just, I know many of you are probably tired of the trifecta that is being reported every day in the news, the IRS, which is probably, to be fair, one of the most troublesome of the three issues. And the reason is that whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you want to make sure that the tax collecting agency of the greatest nation on earth is fair. And what you probably don't know is that Bloomberg has reported that there were some Democratic liberal groups that were also targeted. And so if you are in that discussion, you can feel comfortable in saying Bloomberg has also reported that there were Democratic leaning groups. And frankly, the IRS should spend a lot of time looking into the 501c4s because they are supposed to be given for a social purpose. And what has happened over the years has been that it has morphed into a deal where the IRS, frankly, is granting that status to political organizations. And it's supposed to be for a social purpose. In fact, to be engaged in politics is to be excluded from that status. But that is going on. And I think the Speaker of the House did himself a disservice. I had a meeting with him on Wednesday, and he made so much sense. We were sitting down talking about issues that were important. And then Thursday, he goes on television and says, I'm waiting to see people arrested. Let me just tell you, nobody's going to be arrested unless you can arrest people for being stupid. And we don't have enough prisons to accommodate that. Look, and the IRS agents in Cincinnati, where this is generally handled, may not have done anything wrong. But I think we have to investigate it. And Democrats, if you for those of you who have no luck and you watched C-SPAN yesterday and saw the hearing before the Ways and Means Committee, you saw that the Democrats on the committee, from the ranking member to Charlie Rangel and on down, they all were pretty hard on this issue because we all need to make sure that the IRS is not intruding into our lives. Now, to be sure, the Republicans don't stand on moral high ground because there was no question about Richard Nixon. The last time I checked was a Republican who ordered the IRS to look at his enemies list. So, I mean, and one of the things we need to be sure is that everything that goes on, we didn't do excellently in how we handled it, and the IRS issue could have been handled a little differently. But for those of you who've been under attack, you know that sometimes when you're under attack, you just don't function as well. And but the other issue, Benghazi, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats, that is the most nothing issue. It has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. And what the Republicans have obviously had a meeting to discuss is, let's try to create some scandals. Number one, we need to find out what happened in Benghazi. But they're not trying to find out what happened in Benghazi for two reasons. Number one, they didn't vote for the money that was requested by the State Department that would allow us to have the kind of security we need. The same people you see on television voted no, from John Boehner on down. And number two, that deal with some emails. And the administration did change one of the emails. They changed one word in one email, in one of the talking points. One word. The CIA made the changes. And there was an argument between the State Department and the CIA. But why are we concerned about talking points? 4 people died. We ought to be trying to figure out how we can get a new Congress that won't deny the funds necessary to protect our people in embassies around the world. And the third issue, I'm concerned about it, the AP, the Justice Department, could have handled that a little differently. But clearly it was not something designed to provide some political benefit. The White House got carried away with trying to stop the leaks, and even there, the president was never involved in it. And so when you hear people talking about this trifecta of scandals, nobody's going to jail. So a lot of people are going to look silly, and they're going to continue to try to drag this thing out until the midterm elections. And that's where I think it's important for us as Democrats, and our chair and our state chair are trying to make sure we continue to understand this. Ladies and gentlemen, our future is connected with the off-year elections, and for some perverted reason, I don't think Democrats get it. It was the off-year election that created the Tea Party. Because we stay home when there's an off-year election, and we can't afford to do that. I mean, we got to make sure that we get some more Democrats in the state Senate and in the House of Representatives, and that's when it's done. We've got to be there to do that. Now, the majority of Americans think like us. The overwhelming majority of the people think like the people in this room. But too many of us don't get involved in not talking to this crowd, but people and won't get out to vote. I had a woman to tell me a few years ago, I said, are you going to vote? And she said, oh no, I voted last month. And that's changing stuff? I mean, as if I wouldn't know. And so, we've got to make sure that people understand the value of voting Democrats, because we are the majority, and we're going to become increasingly in the majority. Now, the Senate is trying to help us, but they're hurting the country, because they are wavering on an immigration bill. I was born and raised in Texas. I go back to Texas every chance I get. My father's still very much alive. In fact, my father and Dutch got stuck in Chicago, I think it was, a few years ago, that was not a good combination, ladies and gentlemen.